Rise and shine, mothers and brothers, and cheese wedges and handlebars all over the world. Rise and shine. Let it grow and let it flow. Thank you for riding with me on my way to work today. Rocking the Crosby and the natural beard today. Did nothing. Little groomedmanco.com beard oil. Rocking Man Mint today. And the beard balm is by Cremo. Two very consistent smells. They're not clashing. Man Mint, and then the Cremo beard balm has a rosemary, woodsy, minty kind of thing going on. So it all is working quite well. And I'm not eating anything messy today, so I won't be eating through my mustache today like I usually do. I want to talk to you. Oh, and also too, if you want to wear a derby and a tuxedo shirt, you can when you have a beard. It doesn't matter. I remember a time where I was so broke that I bought a tuxedo shirt, and I know you're supposed to wear these like with studs, you know, like there's 5 studs and cufflinks. And I remember I didn't have enough money to buy studs because I got the shirt for like $2 at a thrift store. So I'm the kind of guy, before I throw a shirt out, any other shirt, I always cut the buttons off. I take things apart and save pieces, nuts and bolts and whatever. But I have a plastic organizer with buttons in it that I've saved over the years. So if I ever pop a button, I can always sew one back on. But what I did was I took all black buttons and sewed them on here. So it looked like I had the studs in the shirt. That's when I was broke and had nothing. And, you know, I was resourceful, and because I was resourceful at one time, it helps me be where I'm at now. I didn't get to where I was, or where I am overnight. It's because of where I was. And that's one of the things I want to talk to you about today. Let's talk about money. Never, ever talk to your children about money unless you talk about ways to get it, careers, resources, methods. The subject of money alone causes anxiety in human beings. Psychologically, I'm absolutely convinced. There are some people who grew up in households where everybody else had money, and they had the secret, they had the X factor, they had something, they had the right degree, they had the right education, they listen to the right advice, they make all the right, everything they do turns to gold. Everything they touch turns successful. Really? I challenge that. Absolutely challenge that. Do not talk about money to your children unless you talk about ways to get money. And it's not about working 5 jobs. It's not about working harder. As Stuart Wilde says, in nature, which we are part of, an apple tree, when given the proper circumstances, soil, watering, sunshine, nutrients, produces more apples than you'll ever be able to eat in your lifetime from one little seed. Human beings, when in the right situation, which very few are born into the right situation, in the right situation will produce more than they could ever use. It's called abundance. And I'm not talking about some new age bullshit philosophy, some nonsense law of attraction, vibration shit. Stop it. Enough. Turn this video off, unsubscribe, get out if that's who you are. Or listen and be educated. Because you can law of attraction and high vibration yourself right into the friggin' ghetto and right into poverty. It's about removing stuff from your life and allowing it to bloom naturally. You've heard of seed starter kits. Those of you who are botanical and horticultural people, gardeners, you know there's some things that you start inside on a windowsill. And when they get a little bit bigger, you bring them outside because they can't handle a full 8, 10, 12 hours of hot sunshine. They can't handle the elements. So you do a seed starter phase with them until they sprout. And when they get strong enough, then you can put them outside. And may I suggest to you that everything you ever learned about money and earning is wrong. If you grew up in a household where people nagged the hell out of you to turn out the lights because of money, not because it's practical. Now, for practical reasons, yes. If you're not in a room, why have a light on? I'm not into waste either. Eat all your food. There's starving kids in China, and I know I have Chinese people listening to this as well. You have to know that there's tons of Americans. We grew up hearing about you, about your starving country, right? And now you're IT experts, and you build the very phones and computers that we use every day. If you grew up with everyone checking everything and I can't believe you spent $1 on a cup of coffee. You can't cup a coffee yourself to wealth. You can't turn out lights to wealth. You can't finish what's on your plate to wealth. Those are all good habits to get into if you're talking about waste and being a good steward of things. You don't want to waste things. I mean, you know, if you're a multi-millionaire, and I even hate the phrase multi-millionaire, you know, people lighting their cigars with $100 bills, that's a waste. That's stupid. That's a because I can thing, and it's just dumb. I've seen people, you know, do that, and it's stupid. And in the past 8 years in America, we've had a president who demonized millionaires and billionaires. Anytime the phrase millionaire and billionaire came out, it was always with a negative connotation. I reject it. Your goal should be to make as much as you can and be the person that God meant you to be, and that is productive. We are meant to be productive. Am I saying God wants you rich? No. God wants you productive. That usually does include financial. That usually includes health abundance. That usually includes abundance socially with friends and resources and connections. That's what abundance is. When you are producing like that apple tree, for instance, if you grew up in the kind of house where everybody else had money, within the first 60 seconds of talking about other people, their money, their earning, their net worth was mentioned, you grew up hearing the wrong thing. And you can be in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s and come through that generation and still think that everyone else has the key. And you still have the mentality that whatever they touch turns to gold or becomes successful. That's not true. Because when the army of average becomes empowered, gets a fire lit under them, they become unstoppable. And you are that. These videos are not for the people who are excelling in life. These are videos for the average people, the people who believe they're average, who have a little spark and a little tiny bit of hope. And that hope says, well, maybe I can do that. Maybe I can be that way. Maybe I have what it takes. You know, I have an idea that I never acted on. I have a business plan that I made 20 years ago, but I had kids. I will tell you, whatever dreams that you put aside decades ago, I would encourage you to bring those things about. Bring them to life. Bring them to the market. Start selling them on the street corner, out of the trunk of your car. You can do it. I have a friend, a co-worker, who his aunt made a glass wax. And believe me, and it's almost like, you know, wax where you wax your car, but it's glass wax for windows. And it goes on with a haze, and then you buff it. And then it literally repels dust, dirt, water just rolls off of it. It doesn't bead up, it doesn't make stains. It's called glass wax. And it was a recipe that his great aunt made and never told anyone. And he says, you know, I should bring that out and introduce it to the market and make my millions. But I don't think he's going to do it. So my thoughts are, find out that recipe. Find out what that recipe is and make it and do it. Even if you start selling it at flea markets. Miracle glass wax. I don't care. Sound foolish? You know what sounds foolish? Getting up and driving to work and hating your work. To me, that's foolish. 40 hours a week for 40 years. That sounds foolish to me. and wishing and hoping that everything's going to get better, and wishing and hoping that maybe you're going to hit the lottery, and wishing and hoping that the next president of the United States is going to change everything. You know what? You are the president of your United States. And when I say the United States, your state of mind, you are the president of your United States. Do you have that? Your policies, just like a president of a country, your policies will help you thrive or hurt you. Are you the master of your states of mind? I just made that up. It just made sense. But I might roll with that and develop it in the future. Dudes, I'm digging my XB. I swear, I am loving this. It is so responsive. It is such a responsive vehicle. Ugly as heck, but I've always marched to the beat of a different drummer. Practical as heck. If you're looking for a vehicle, go take a Scion XB for a drive. I think you're going to love it if you're like me. I'm not a big fat luxury car guy. I like practical. I'm like Mr. Practical. Years ago, somebody called me George Practical Bruno. That was my nickname. Never talk about money without talking about methods and ways of making it. If you talk about money to people without talking about a job opportunity, a business idea, all it does is create anxiety in yourself. Like our president of the United States, who talked about millionaires and billionaires as if it's evil. He should be talking about millionaires and billionaires as if it's a great thing to attain to. I will tell you this, if I took all the money in the world and spread it evenly amongst all the people in the world, in 5 years, there's going to be poor people, there's going to be rich people. People who are like the current president of the United States, his message would be, is that the rich became rich because they took from the poor, or they took advantage of the poor. Nonsense. They were good stewards. They knew what to do with it. They didn't squander it. I reject the theory that your country's economic system, the New World Order and all that bullshit, is controlling you and your money. You control it. You have much more control than you think. Do you have a business idea? Do it. That's why many videos ago I said, what is the best side hustle you ever heard? Hoping to light a damn fire under someone's butt and get them moving. Now, 6 months ago, I could not say that I was a professional YouTube content creator. I am now a professional YouTube content creator. I'm getting invited to YouTube parties and Google parties because I have a very interactive, I'm not like the popping zits lady. You know that lady just videotapes a doctor, she just like cysts and all that gory stuff and just like disgusting things. Okay, she has 3 million viewers, but they're not interactive. They're not faithful. I will submit that you are more faithful as a subscriber and listener than Dr. Pimple Popper. I will submit to that. You're not coming to me just for education like PewDiePie, Francis Rages, or what the heck is that other one that has a bazillion views that I can't stand? That has zero depth. A lot of views, but zero depth. You get something from these. My hope is one person is changed as a result of these videos. One person. And I've done, what, maybe 250 videos so far? And I'm trying to produce as many as possible. But here's the thing. If one person is moved, and that's a super conservative number, if one person is moved as a result of this video, and every video I've ever done, that means there's 250 people in the world that are no longer sitting on their ass. If somebody gets peace from Beards Without Borders, then if one person gets peace and relaxes and forgets their shit and their divorce and their bad working situation and their bad relationships, if one person gets to relax and calms down as a result of Beards Without Borders, then that means there's 250 people in the world that got peace. And I'm okay with that. Now, I know the number is that times 1,000. I know that for a fact because emails are flying in like crazy. I literally get an hour's worth of emails and messages every single day, and I'm getting back to the 600 that were in my YouTube message box. I think I'm down to 400 now, but I am getting back to everybody. I'm like Gary V, commenting on everyone that ever commented on his Twitter. Never talk about money unless you talk about methods. It just creates anxiety, depression, and feelings of helplessness. You grew up in the kind of family where everybody else had money, you didn't. It was some secret that they had that you were constantly striving for. May I submit to you, how about creating the conditions for the apple tree to produce fruit in your life? Don't seek money, create the conditions. And guess what? Money is a byproduct of the proper conditions. Money is just basically somebody exchanging value for value. You know that, don't you? I know you do. It's the last day of my week. Do I have any brothers or sisters in the Melbourne, Florida area? Let me know if you're in Melbourne, Vero Beach, Indy Atlantic, Cocoa Beach, Merritt Island, Vieira. If you're down there, let me know. I'm going to be down there for a week. Maybe we can meet up and have a cigar and do a Beards Without Borders. I'll be visiting some people down there in the hair industry and looking at various opportunities, possibly for some part-time distance work. I don't know. Don't seek money, seek the conditions that create the money. Because the very same conditions that create money are the same conditions that are going to create stability in your life. Those are the very same conditions that will pay the rent, pay the mortgage, put you in a car that starts up every day, help you court. If you're a man, it's going to help you court a woman like a gentleman. And she's going to say, wow, no one else is like that. He took me on a date, he paid for everything, and expected nothing back. That's what I teach my boys. I have 2 boys. I don't see or talk to them very much, but I will tell you this. I've always taught them to be gentlemen. And my daughter, she has seen me teach my boys how to be gentlemen, and she knows what to expect, hopefully. If a man is not a gentleman with her, he doesn't deserve her time. And me as a single man, in my 50s, I'm looking for a life partner. I'm not going to get that life partner by looking for a life partner. As I heard Greg Laurie say once, the key to finding the right man or woman is being the right man or woman. And that's what I've been working on, is being the right person. Proper temperament, goals, attitude. And it's a wonderful thing. I feel the apples just growing like crazy. And everything is right around the corner ever since I made up my mind and I was decisive. Look up the word decisive in the dictionary. That's your homework right now. Look up the word decisive. I might start doing that with every video. Have kind of like a word of the day kind of thing where I want you to actually do something. Look up the word decisive. D-E-C-I-S-I-V-E. Decisive. Look it up. How does it apply to your life? And how better would your life be with the application of decisiveness? I'm in the parking garage at the mall where I'm going to work all day today. I work at a damn mall. You rock, man. You can do it. I know you can because I believe in you. Now go out and do it.